Hey, everybody. Welcome to What Drives Us, episode 209 for December 14th, 2016. My name is Russell Frost. I have the great pleasure of being your co-host for this evening. My longtime co-host, Andy Cooper, is at home this week having his Santa suit tailored. And in his place, our interim co-host, my good friend and yours as well, Mr. Tony Schaefer.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to What Drives Us 209. Happy Wednesday. I am more or less comfortably indoors here in northern Chicagoland, where the current temperature is 7 degrees Fahrenheit. It says it feels like minus 10, and we're having a steady 15-mile-an-hour winds. So it's pretty blistery outside. On the upside, you always have to find the silver lining. The UV index is 0. So
because the sun's down.
Yeah,
it's nighttime.
You could
no sunscreen required.
Yeah, you could go outside without a shirt and sunscreen, and you don't have to worry about getting sunburned. Windburned, maybe.
I've heard of the supermoon actually cutting people down, though. Just
it's like a laser.
That wind is coming directly from Mark Coughlin's house to yours.
Yes.
Well, speaking of other people on the show, we do indeed have other people on the show, and one of them is our good friend, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Yes, it is freezing here in southern Ontario as well. So 2 out of the 4 people here are freezing. We'll have to turn it over to Paul to see what's going on in Colorado.
And speaking of Colorado, let's introduce, he is the owner and founder of Boulder HC.com. If you have a hybrid and you live in the Rockies, he's the man you need to see. Mr. Paul Guzik.
Hey, thanks for the plug. So let's see, I'm looking at the weather. It's getting chilly here. It's 14 degrees right now. So, yeah, so I guess Russell gets the prize for the warmest.
Yeah, that's a surprise, right? The idiot in Florida.
Yeah. But yeah.
Also get the prize for most likely to be eaten by an alligator.
That's true.
Yeah, definitely.
There are no alligators in Colorado.
There aren't?
None that you've found, anyways.
Not that I've seen.
It's 67 here, by the way. It was 83 today, just in case you were curious. Tomorrow night looks like
surrounded by Floridians.
Yeah, well, exactly. It looks like that's why it's so warm, because they radiate heat. all that cogitation that Floridians are engaged in constantly. And you know what? I don't need to be killed by somebody local. So we're gonna not go down that rat's nest right now. We have a full slate of exciting news this week, so why don't we get started with that? And I think first up is my friend, Mr. Coughlin. Mark, take it away, sir.
Well, we got some interesting news yesterday afternoon here on the East Coast that the long-awaited Chevy Volt has finally arrived.
That's Bolt with a B.
That is exactly right. So as of yesterday afternoon, East Coast time, a number of deliveries were made in Fremont, California. Gee, I wonder why they would pick Fremont. Anyways,
isn't there where there's like a big?
I think it was just a coincidence, and I think
it was a coincidence.
Agree with me there. Yes,
right.
Just a coincidence that they had 3 volts that were handed out to some locals. And there was
one of the owners, Elon Musk. Did he buy it?
He was not in the photo, if that was the case, but he stayed out of the media eye if that was actually happening. But no, we had 3 other people besides Elon had picked up their bolts at Fremont, California Chevy.
Wow.
Cool.
So interesting to see that it finally has released. And then, of course, as soon as that happened, obviously it was staged by Chevy. there was a number of different other dealerships that immediately jumped in and had Bolts available for people to pick up. And there was a flurry of activity on the internet of people taking them out for test drives around different California towns.
That's cool. So it's really real.
It's real.
It is real.
At least the first couple of dozen are real.
Yeah.
Well, there was actually some shots, and actually the Fremont location, it looked like it had at least 24 sitting in their lot alone.
Wow.
There was shots of transport trucks going up and down highways with the loads of them. So there's a few trains have arrived in the California area. Now, I didn't hear anything about the other state that was supposed to get some, Oregon. There hasn't been much of a, media of cars there, but apparently it was supposed to launch at the same time in that state as well.
Cool.
Interesting. Well, my follow-up story was just for a chance for me to rant about how much I hate The Verge. Because The Verge's whole story on this is, and I quote the headline here, quote, "First Chevy Volt is delivered in Tesla's backyard." Wait. In the first sentence, they use the word, or they use the phrase, "perhaps coincidentally." And I gotta think, either you're just fucking dumb or you're playing dumb on TV. Because, I mean, honestly, does anyone here even think there's any coincidence whatsoever?
No,
Probably not.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
Chevy-
really. Yeah, I mean, take out. They do a little. They do 2 paragraphs on the 3 people who are taking delivery.
Yeah.
And then they have like 3 real paragraphs of actual information, all with a bunch of links. And it's really just, of course, it's just clickbait.
2 other Verge articles, by the way.
Right. Yeah. So that's all it is. It's just to get more eyes on their website.
So yeah, I just wanted a chance to slap at The Verge. Forgive me.
Yeah.
That's me. And then the picture. Yes, the picture. Wait. We have to put this up. And I retweeted this back to Chevy because I wondered, could you have found 3 guys who looked more pissed off about taking a brand new car? I mean, honestly. Jesus, does the word smile not exist?
Maybe they found out what they were paying, and this is just the first time that they figured it out.
Or someone told them they were going to pick up their Tesla, and they said, "What?
Oh, Paul, that's terrible."
Right.
Yeah. Actually, the Chevy dealer forgot to charge them, so they can't have them until tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's a reason there's no smiles.
Yeah.
There's have to remain there till tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason. I mean, that's a good point. Either they took a whole bunch of pictures and these guys were just tired of smiling, or these guys are just angry and pissed off. And I don't know. It's like you would think that if you're the 3 first people to take delivery of an entire car line,
You'd have a big ass grin.
Oh, big ass grin, and you'd be like, "Yeah, mother, we got the car." Nope.
So here's my other issue with The Verge, and I don't begrudge any company PR. Okay, everybody deserves, you know what I mean? That's how they sell cars.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, clearly this whole thing was very carefully contrived. The Verge talks about these 3 people, that not by name and not really mentioning them, but that the first 3, one is replacing a BMW i3 and one's replacing a Toyota Prius. Mm-hmm. No coincidence there either.
No, and of course every media outlet had the same basic story. So obviously it was released ahead of time and told that you could release it at a certain time on Tuesday. And in this article from InsideEVs, it even names the people: William Matos, a Bob Edmonds, and a Steve Henry. So, and gives a little rundown of what they do and what they've owned. And
doesn't Bob Evans own a bunch of restaurants in the Midwest?
No, Bob Edmonds.
That's another car site. Yeah.
Of course, you could tell these people were clearly handpicked. Bill Matos, retired law enforcement officer. I don't know if that weighed into it, but he has the Spark EV 2nd generation Volt. And Mr. Edmonds is replacing his BMW i3. So there's a statement GM wants to make.
If you need a used i3, go to Fremont Chevy.
I think that's exactly what they're saying. And then, of course, Mr. Henry is replacing his Toyota Prius. So, of course, GM is like trying to stick their finger in Toyota's eye with
in multiple eyes at the same time.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, I would say half the Volt owners were former Prius owners.
Yeah,
quite possibly.
Yeah, I don't mean to.
Surprise me if Volt.
There's a lot of them, sure. No, I think that's absolutely fair, Paul. That a lot of people buying the new Bolt and that bought the Volt had Prius before or something else. I mean, we're going to see that. I'm sure that's true for Tesla as well.
You can also see in the photo here that there's, you've got at least 14 cars just sitting here in the opening photo. So, many things have been, laid out for the press here. Many things all at once.
Mark, those are styrofoam.
Can I tell you how much I hate that gold color?
Oh, come on.
Orange?
That's the orange is great. Yeah.
No, that's not that. No, I'm sorry. That is not orange. That is gold. That is dangerously close to harvest gold. That's just my opinion. I'm sorry. But hey, you know what? I hope that this is actually what it appears to be, which is Chevy starting to get these cars out into the hands of the public and getting out into the marketplace. I hope they ship an assload of these cars and sell a bunch of them. I mean, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, Speaking of selling an assload of these, one of the things in the InsideEVs article said that the all-time debut month record for EV sales recently set by the Toyota Prius Prime in November with 781 deliveries. Now, there's so much wrong with that because the Toyota Prius Prime is not an all EV. But it does actually, that's the first time that I've heard that the Prime delivered 781 units in November.
And it was only a partial month for them too.
Yeah. And limited release. I mean, I do have a customer who bought one this week in Denver, and he said the dealer only got 2 for this year, basically.
Wow.
They said, here's 2 and maybe some more next year. So
yeah. So I mean, yeah,
he brought it and showed it off yesterday. It's pretty cool.
So that was a 90-degree tangent, but it was just one little tidbit that they threw into this article that I thought was just interesting to bring up.
Paul, you got to see the Prime.
Got to drive it.
What did you think?
Nice ride. I was a little disappointed with the trunk space, because of the extra battery, the deck's a little higher.
Come on. I mean, really, we're talking about like.
But you have no hidden storage underneath like on a normal Prius. But it drove great. It had all the, electronic toys like lane departure and adaptive cruise control and the automatic parking and, basically semi-autonomous features and a very impressive car. It handled well. It looks nice. I like the look. I think it's going to do well. Did
you did it have the heads-up display?
It may have. I didn't notice. It was daylight. So.
You would have noticed.
Yeah, it's bright. Yeah,
it's a full color heads-up display that's pretty much right in front of you.
I was looking at the center touchscreen thing.
So it sounds like it was the premium, not the advanced. So you may have had the
had all the radar sensors on the side.
Yeah. So that was the ACA, the advanced shit. I forgot now.
You're leaving me in the dirt, dude. I mean,
but what's cool is that they're officially selling them outside of California.
Yeah.
At least in limited numbers.
Yeah, they may not be shipping them, but they're selling them.
Mm-hmm. So one thing else I found interesting in the article was the mention somewhere. It listed the states that the Bolt was going to be in. Where is that? Did you guys see that?
Is it just carb states initially?
It's just the 2 to start with, right? And then
it was just the 2.
Yeah.
They say during the winter it'll also move over to the East Coast to the carb states.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like New York and Pennsylvania and here I am thinking, really, you're gonna like release a car in New York in the winter?
Yes.
Well, you got to be confident to do that. I would say that's one thing. but it's something that Chevy had said initially they were going to roll it out everywhere at once. That didn't happen.
Right.
And what they've done now is said that it'll go out in the winter to the East Coast, and they said it'll be a full rollout by the end of 2017. So somewhere in the fall area.
But I mean, the battery's so big, who cares if you crank the heater and it decreases your range? What's it going to decrease it to? Like 150 miles? Like it's still going to be decent.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I just think of the whole concept of going to the dealer and picking up a car when your face is frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but
Well,
you know what?
Tony, you've stated that before, even with your own situation, is that you would rather not pick up any car in the winter, right?
Right, and
you'd rather wait till the spring has arrived.
Yeah, and that's kind of why this is really kind of pertinent to me, is that I am intentionally postponing the purchase of my next car until the average temperature is above freezing.
Right.
That's it.
Well, you've even got people in the forums now that are saying that there's a gentleman from Maryland who has bought the car already from a dealership in California, is having it shipped back.
Wow.
So here's a car that left Michigan by rail, traveled all the way to California to be loaded up on another car carrier to be shipped to Maryland. So
to improve his carbon footprint.
Yes.
It's so crazy.
In 7 years, it'll offset, I promise.
Well, and it just goes to but I mean, there's always examples of this that
but there's always people who want to be first.
Well, yeah. And there are people that really are excited about it. You know what I mean? Like genuinely, not even so much like, no, I got it first, but generally want the vehicle, which is the damn shame of the, companies rolling these things out selectively like they do. It's just, how about sell them to everybody who wants one? That's a weird idea. I know, but.
No money to be made doing that, Russell.
Maybe they're going to try and train their dealers so people don't have awful experiences.
Yeah, we've been saying that for 7 years.
You should buy this Cavalier or whatever they're selling. Because I'll make more commission if you buy this.
I'll be done. I'll catch my breath in about half an hour.
So here's a heads up for our listeners. If you walk into a Chevy dealer and you ask what they know about the Bolt, and if the salesman tells you it has an inline V6, you got a problem.
Buy two.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Buy two. Well, speaking of things I don't really like that much, Business Insider, never been one of my favorite sites. But every once in a while, they have something I want to comment on. And I thought this is sort of right up my alley in that I like these bigger sort of philosophical issues sometimes, as much as I love talking about the cars and the technical details. An interesting quote from a gentleman that I'm not familiar with named George, maybe Jorg, I'm not sure, Bauer. He's been in the auto industry, Business Insider claims, for over 30 years, executive positions at Daimler, BMW, and most recently Tesla. He said that the car business, the idea that you're going to buy a car as an individual and own it, that idea is over and done with in 5 years.
Wow, 5.
5.
Yeah.
And they go on to list his reasons, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. I just thought it was interesting that, somebody was willing to grab some headlines and be link bait to say something, because I think 5 years is pretty aggressive. That said, I think he's absolutely right. In the long term, the idea that everybody has to own their own car is going to go bye-bye. Gentlemen?
I got to sell my car. It's like 5 years away. I need a market.
Really?
I agree with that. Ultimately, cars will just be roaming around, but it's going to take more than 5 years.
I agree.
I mean,
I think
people may own a personal car for weekend use, but if they can get the algorithms and the self-driving cars and make it so that your monthly fee to go anywhere you want, when you want to go, is less than owning a car and more convenient, I think people will switch over. But we'll see.
Yeah, I read this and I kind of thought of ourselves, in fact. We could be considered early adopters. We're enthusiasts in the space. And we keep making these sort of bold predictions that, well, hybrids are going to be, 20% of the market in 5 years, and EVs are going to be, 10% of the market in 5 years. But really what we're saying is we really hope it to be,
Right.
and we are going to be driving these cars. And so, here's a guy who, clearly is invested personally and emotionally in this thought. And so when I was reading this, my takeaway was he's not going to own a car in 5 years. But, there's always the early adapters. You're going to have those people who are just going to rely entirely on mass transportation or Uber or Lyft. And I mean, these days, that's called New York City.
Right.
But you're always going to have people who just, well, I want a car in my garage so that I can have it whenever I need it. And I don't want to sit in a car that someone else just got out of. It's going to be dirty and filthy, and I would rather have my own car. And on and on.
My
and
car's
on.
dirty.
Yeah, but it's your dirt. See, that's the difference. It's your dirt.
I'm wallowing in my own filth. Is that
So,
what you're saying?
all I'm saying is, as much as I want this to be true, and I do agree that I think the ownership of cars is going to go down, consistently over the years. But yeah, 5 years, I would look more at 15 or 20 before this is and even then, I think if it's 25% of people who used to have cars no longer own cars, then I would consider that a starting
or like
success.
2-car households will change to 1-car households. And
Yeah, yeah.
car for weekends, and commuting will be through some kind of Uber type service and running around. I mean, if you could truly get like a ride anywhere you wanted within 3 minutes because cars are just roaming around,
Mm-hmm.
and your monthly cost for all your rides was half of your car payment and insurance and all that stuff, and you don't have the hassle of parking the car, I think at least in urban areas, people would switch. I mean, it's going to take a while, but I think it will happen. I mean, so much so that like cities are talking about rezoning parking garages into apartments, because at some point there'll be no need for garages because cars will be just roaming around and no one will use garages, except, a few private owners. So
That's a good thing.
It's something that is going to be related to the urban centers. So
Yeah.
these large urban centers, these cities, are going to be the ones that have people that already rely on some mass transit and will use the cars.
I mean, it's like Manhattan. If
Exactly.
it's not rush hour and it's not raining, it takes 40 seconds to get a taxi. I mean, they're just roaming around, and you just hop out in the street and boom, you got it.
But it will take a long time to ramp up, and as Tony
More
had
than
said,
5 years.
you're probably talking 20 years, like before it starts to gain serious momentum. Just recently here in Toronto area, they started to, or they're proposing that they are going to charge a toll to drive into the city, similar to what London did in England. So that's going to deter some people at some point. So, we are all heading that way. It's just a matter of how quickly we're going to get there. And I think it's going to be later as opposed to sooner.
Yeah. And, speaking of that, making a toll to drive into the city. I don't know if you guys saw this. I saw it just, I think, earlier this week. If you saw, Paris took the exact opposite approach. Did you guys see this?
No.
I
They're
skimmed
paying
the article.
people to visit Paris?
Yes. They are paying gas guzzlers to drive into Paris because the air is not polluted enough. Okay, ignore all of that. Ignore that. That was the joke.
That was good.
No, and I have to admit, I did just skim the article, but basically it was that Paris is willing to invest or just pay, but they view it as an investment. I think it was $25 million a year, and all mass transportation within the city limit is free. So it's completely free. That is how they are trying to get people to not drive cars in the city of Chicago.
It's a great. I mean, it's already subsidized.
I said Chicago. I meant Paris.
Yeah. No, but and it's a benefit to the people who live there.
Right?
Yes.
So
that's what they're trying to do
citizens.
to clean the air and keep the cars, and so you could have more pedestrians because now you have fewer cars. You could have more bikes because you have fewer cars. So yeah, I mean, I would be interested in watching this for 3 years, 5 years, and seeing how it evolves and how people change their habits.
So I'm going to tell a quick story, and then I'll have a comment on this. 1980, almost 26 years ago to the day, this month, one of my good friends, who was a longtime record store manager, and I was a record store assistant manager 26 years ago.
What's a record store?
I know. Wait for it. That you've touched on a point here. We're sitting around looking at this rack that we had right by the front counter that had 21 new titles from CBS Records on this new compact disc thing. Okay, and we were just like, "Oh my God!" They were like $23 fucking dollars. Yeah. Number one, and an album was $7.99.
And in the '80s, $23 was like $60 today.
Yeah, I mean, you had to work a few hours to get that. But and we sat around, musing as we do because we're record store employees, and we weren't pushed to be productive. And we were just thinking, and I think back to this conversation so many times because this guy's been very successful running his own independent record store since then. And I obviously had a career. Well, I shouldn't say obviously. I had a career in the music business. Wait. I can. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
I actually worked in the music business for a while too. Anyway, all of which is, we sat around, and our line of thought was this: these CD things are great and they're cool, but they're expensive and they're hard to get, and people aren't going to buy them. There are millions of record players out there built into big stereos and TVs and cocktail tables and everything, and everybody has records, and there's millions of used records out there. It's just the density of records. Vinyl's never going away. It's not going to go away for a very, very long time. I'm here to tell you, 4 years later, vinyl was dead. It may have taken another 5 years for vinyl to really die a full-on death.
To realize it was dead.
Americans left vinyl records like rats leaving a sinking ship, and we were both blown away. You know what I mean? We just
Although now it's coming back.
But now it's coming back in a very in a different way, and
a collector way.
Yeah, the record industry, being what it is,
in a hipster way,
has found a very interesting way to bring it. And you know what? I love vinyl records. I think 12x12 artwork is wonderful. I think it's great. All I'm saying is, and again, we supposedly knew something about the business that we were in. It's easy to make these predictions: 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I mean, where are the millions of used cars going to go? It's going to depress the price of salvaged metal, for God's sakes.
They're also going to go to the used record stores.
They're going to go to the used record stores. Yeah. Trade. I mean, can I trade this in for the new Doobie Brothers re-release? It's only $7,000 on 180 gram audiophile.
You just have to figure out how to stack the cars vertically.
On edge. But I do, again, one of the things that I've been thinking about is where are all these cars going to go? And you know what? I mean, you guys all touched on it individually. The urban centers where these changes can be made easily or more easily are going to convert. The people are going to change. We're going to see them get rid of cars because cars don't make sense for them. And we're going to see a lot of these cheap, used, older cars go out to the rural areas. Yeah. And those people are going to be driving beat up pieces of crap forever because the used price of, a 2025 Jeep ain't worth that much, That's all. Yeah, that's all. Right. Sometimes things come up and you just don't expect them.
Yep, and that's it's interesting that you said that it only took 4 years. That was it.
Oh yeah, it was done.
Yeah. Well, and that would be blistering fast. Just working at the record store, you must have said just seeing the increase year after year after year. It's like, wow, this thing's on fire.
Yeah. I mean, and there were reasons for. I mean, there were a lot of good reasons for it. I think a compact disc, in a lot of ways, for the consumer, was a vastly superior product. So the question is an auto driving car, is a self driving car, is a car share a superior product?
So
that is yet to be found out.
What I think here it begs the question of. Let's say you have self-driving cars and you have Lyft and you have Uber and, these other things. I think initially where we're going to see the impact is the younger generation, again, city centers, not buying the car. But you're going to have people who own cars And I think they're not going to run out to sell their car.
Bingo.
Just to not have it. So I think the transition from a car-based society to a car leased or car borrowed or car rental society is going to be on the timeline of how long is the car I'm driving now going to last.
Well, and you know, some people love to drive cars, but most people put up with driving a car because they need the freedom to go where they want to go when they want to go. And if there's a way to give them that freedom and they can sit in the back seat and play with their smartphone and it's less money, that's going to win, especially for the kids. A lot of these younger generation, they don't even want to get a driver's license.
No.
They
And
just
it's expensive, and they're not making any money.
Right.
You know,
and they want to be Facebooking the whole day. And
Yeah, but you've just made, part of Tony's point is that it is a different generation of people that are doing that. Everyone on this panel, I can almost guarantee, will never get rid of their car.
at least all their cars.
Really?
Would you agree?
I would love to.
Depends where I lived.
Yeah, I would love to just own a motorcycle and never own a four-wheeled vehicle again.
I would own a car only because my wife and I are transplants to the Chicago area, and both of us have families almost 400 miles away. And maybe 4 times a year we'll drive.
Yeah, but
one
if
of them
Uber costs you $40 to take you door to door,
just around here going to work, yes. And
no,
and
but
so
a 400-mile trip, what if it was $40?
and would it be? I seriously doubt it would be $40.
Oh,
You never know.
you
If it
never
was-
know.
Yeah, if it was an autonomous car, I could see that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How could you
I don't think I could ever get rid of mine.
Really?
Not at this point. I don't think that there is a chance. Again, I'm not in a packed urban center.
Do you
I'm
have a
out in the
land-
suburbs.
Mark, do you have a landline phone?
I still do, and it's just not used.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just paying the $20 a month to the phone.
Actually, it's part of our cable bill. So to
Oh,
get the deal,
right,
you had
right.
to get the phone line with the internet, with the television, and it was cheaper to get all 3, even though I'm not going to use one of them.
But
Right.
tons of people don't have a landline now.
Correct.
Right.
Oh yeah.
No landline here. Right.
But I would say that the landline thing is very similar to Russell's point about records and CDs, whereas this is a personal choice of being free with a car to go where you want to go when you want to go. And I think as someone has been grown up in that society, it's tough to leave that freedom at any point. Just to say, okay, I'll try the new ride share, because there are going to be situations, especially in the beginning, where the cars are going to be used up by the people that want to use it in rush hour or whatever, and you're going to have a difficult time getting a car in the beginning. That may alleviate over time, but I think that during my lifetime, it's
when
going
it
to be
rains in Manhattan,
difficult.
try getting a yellow cab.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be pretty cool, in my opinion, if I could set up a recurring to and from work schedule and had a car that came by, picked up myself, 3 other people in the area, and it worked out the algorithm, and it said I
that's
can
the other
pick
thing,
you
though.
up, and then
There'll be incentives like if you're willing to share your ride, you're going to pay 1/4 the cost. And you'll say, well, I don't care if there's 3 people in the car.
possibly, yeah.
And you might say, I want a private ride and I'm willing to pay extra.
And then you always end up with that guy.
He wants to talk too much about shit you don't want to hear.
With the bad McDonald's breakfast sandwich and gas.
And then it dawns on you, I have sold my car.
Yeah. And the secret is, if you can't identify that guy, you are that guy.
Yeah. Exactly.
But on the other hand, when these cars are out, if you own one, you could say, I want to reserve it for myself these hours, and the other 12 hours a day, it's out roaming around making me money.
Ooh, bingo boingo. That would be cool.
So that could be a way to offset the costs of private ownership.
Could be.
So,
But not everybody's going to own one, obviously, at that point, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I wish we could come back in 20 years and see how things played out.
Oh, we can.
We can.
Yeah.
I'll be here, dude. I don't know about you.
I just put a note on the calendar right
CD,
now.
Russell.
That's it. You know what? I would love to. We will check back in 5 years. Okay.
Yeah, 5.
That'll be our next. So we're talking middle of December, 20. What is it? 2021.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And yeah, so President Kanye will be a year into tenure.
The President Kumacha.
Yeah.
That's right. It'll be the second Trump term.
It's been a great show, folks. And with that, if you said second Trump term, next up, it just, you know what? Do I have to apologize for being me at this point?
No.
I don't think so. Okay. So I'm a whiny, complainy, ranty kind of guy. And can I tell you how sick I am of teaser campaigns and sneak peeks and spy photos and totally irrelevant marketing campaigns, like talking about a drag racer when actually they don't make drag racers, they make something else. Can I tell you how sick I am of that crap?
I'm pretty much right there with you. So yeah.
And sometimes we click on it.
And I clicked on this. Autoblog yesterday posted a thing. They're like weekly wrap up, and here's a picture of the Fisker E-Motion, a picture of the rear end, and you know what? Forgive me, I'm a photographer, so I'm a little pissy about photographs. But honestly, this is a crappy cell phone picture. There's nothing artistic about it. There's nothing. It's a nice looking back end of a car, but it's not. Whatever. It is what it is. Faraday Future. I don't even know what they're talking about with the fucking drag racer, but I don't care about them anymore. I've been getting press releases from them every day about their new website and
are they still like trying to dig the hole for their factory or something?
No, as far as I know, it's still not being dug, but they're still going forward with their CES release of their new production vehicle. And does anybody give a shit?
No.
It's starting to get flooded. Like even today, the Lucid was released, a new sedan similar to a Tesla type model was released today. Another one.
Yes, they called it a Tesla killer.
Yeah.
Nice looking car, but again, these are all really vaporware cars at this point.
Yeah, and again, I support everybody who wants to get into this market and make a better product and make it cool. That's awesome. Vaporware like Faraday Future, and again, I understand like there's some marketing component to starting up a company. So you're going to talk about what you're doing before it's actually done. But there's a limit to it. There's a limit, and then there's like good marketing, and then there's just beating the shit out of a dead horse, and that's just a sad picture, and that's kind of where I'm at with Faraday Future.
Let me
it's interesting that they've now thrown up a website where the car is magically built with pixels on the screen as time goes along.
And Mark, very, very interesting use of the phrase "thrown up," because that's really, really kind of describes the vomiting of particles that is slowly making up this art. Yeah. And I know that like somebody in their web department got a bonus for thinking up this idea, but Mark Coughlin, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, Jimmy.
No. So I put up the picture here of this Fisker.
Oh, yes, you did.
Now, there's a couple of things. One is in the article, they had said with a strip of lightning across the back. Are they talking about the branch, that tree branch?
No, I think they're talking about the lighting. Was it lighting or lightning?
Lighting. Oh, it does say lighting.
No,
I saw.
Lighting.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they're talking about the rear tail lights.
It's just LEDs across the back.
Okay. Secondly, you see that structure on the right?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
Where's the reflection?
None of it is real.
We don't really know.
Right.
I don't even know that it's. I mean, like, I don't even need to get into parsing the photograph. It's a mediocre photograph.
But
and look, if you want to pull punches here, Tony, look at the background. They're releasing this thing in Toronto. Look at the weather.
Right.
Who releases the car in Canada, really?
No, I mean, honestly, it would appear to me that someone failed to Photoshop the reflection of the structure right here where it should be.
I don't know that because of the angle of the body that's an issue.
I'm going with that.
Okay. Hey, go for it. I'm just a dude with a camera. I am by no means not at all.
Yeah. I don't.
You know what? I've whined enough tonight. I'm going to turn the mic over to who's up next. Let's see. Tony.
Oh yeah. The Tesla thing.
Yeah.
So saw this. Wait, am I still presenting to everyone?
I'm going to stop that, and I'll put up your pictures.
God, for the love of all that is good, stop that. So yeah, I stumbled upon this in electrek.co, and this was they took a video that the guy had a dash cam, and in the video, which requires a little bit of explanation. So it's a normal situation in which person is driving in the right lane on what appears to be an interstate. He's got a large-ish vehicle in front of him. It's a rolling blind spot. You clearly can't see what's in front of him. However, what's interesting is his Tesla actually starts beeping before the truck in front of him hits the taillights, which means the Tesla actually detected that the car in front of the SUV was being a dumbass. Yeah, was rapidly slowing down, and what ended up doing is two cars in front of him realized they were about to miss their exit, so they slammed up their brakes and they tried to make the exit at the very last second. Which, in the picture that Russell's putting up, you can see that there's another SUV in the lane next to him, so the SUV in front of him couldn't get over, so the SUV had no choice but to slam on his brakes. If the driver of the Tesla wasn't paying attention, he clearly would have hit the SUV in front of him. But this is where Tesla's software update 8.0, they got with Bosch, their radar supplier, and so Tesla is now receiving raw data, and it allows them to, believe it or not, see the car in front of the car in front of you. And the way they do that is by bouncing the radar off the road under the car in front of you, and then seeing they actually get a signal back, and they can actually. So
did the Tesla lay on the horn at the jackass?
He really did. Yeah, I think the Tesla might have done it automatically.
Fuck you.
Yeah. There needs to be a fuck you setting. Right?
That's part of the autopilot right there.
Yeah, part of the autopilot. Yeah. So I just thought this was really cool, and I really want to talk about this because it's me. I love like future tech stuff.
Well, and also what's equally cool is they squirted that upgrade into the car remotely. You didn't have to go to the dealer to get that feature.
Yeah, just like
didn't have to pay
prone
for it.
to do. Yeah. They pushed it over the air. So this is something new for the Tesla owners who have. Where did it say over the air? Equipped with the first generation autopilot hardware. So you literally can be driving along, and even if you can't see the car in front of you, you know that your car can.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's just really cool.
I mean, just think how many lives stuff like this is going to save.
Exactly. That's
because so many accidents, or most accidents, are human error.
Yeah, that one. I mean, but how often is it that some critical component in the vehicle fails and causes an accident?
Almost never.
Not in 2016.
Yeah. Or even, you're driving along and you can't see in front of the SUV or the truck or whatever in front of you, and literally it's, a box or something falls out of the truck in front of them. Or they're driving along and they don't see that there's a branch in the road and they slam on the brakes.
Yeah.
Or they were checking their email. And
just like in this example here, the driver in front, they didn't spot it as quickly as they could have, and therefore your reaction time is less because they slowed the reaction as well. So if the car can see it for you, huge savings of time, giving you more room to brake.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about this because I thought it was really cool tech, and someday, hopefully, all cars will have safety features like this.
Yeah, the video is very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, now I wonder if the Tesla Model 3. I know that they say that some of these automatic braking features come with it. It'll be interesting to see if if those are considered safety features that come with a car, or are those extras that you have to pay for in order to have them.
As I recall, Mr. Coughlin, all of the hardware will be built into the
Yes,
Model
the hardware will be there.
The hardware.
But Elon was very cagey that some of it, that it may have to be activated by extra charges.
To get out your credit card.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. So that's everyone else's recollection as well.
Yeah, the hardware will be installed on all the Model 3s, but if you want to survive an accident, you have to pay for that.
Well, that wasn't exactly said.
But you cannot upgrade during an accident. It takes effect 30 days after you subscribe.
See, this is why I don't work in marketing.
Yeah. And if you let
Wouldn't that be interesting? You step in your car, you turn it on, and it says you will be in an accident in 30 minutes. Would you like the upgrade now?
You want to buy the insurance plan.
I love that. Or if you let your subscription lapse, like you can't turn the headlights on, there's no brakes at all.
No. The door's locked. The car drives you to Tesla and it kicks you out. They repo the car.
Your car can now only make right-hand turns.
with a button on the screen that says renew now.
Last chance.
Yeah.
Like those video games. Play another.
Yeah.
But they did mention during the reveal that some of these safety features would be included with the car. It would come with the hardware. It would use the hardware to do these safety features. But of course, it's not been really mapped out as to what these things are.
Yeah. You got to wonder if some of these, whether it would be considered almost immoral to charge for safety features as opposed to optional autonomous driving features. I mean, that would almost, I mean, I realize it's the law, but it would almost be like charging for seatbelts and airbags kind of thing.
But I mean,
like I said, I know that's the law.
That's not normal. Like you pay Toyota if you want adaptive cruise control or auto braking. It's not
right. You pay for that feature. Because adaptive cruise control is not a safety feature. That
yes,
just makes okay. You think it is, but I've been driving my entire life without adaptive cruise control.
Auto braking is
you've been driving all your life without auto braking, but
right
doesn't mean it's not a safety feature.
But people pay extra for it.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. You can pay extra for auto braking, but you can.
But there was an article in 5 years that's going to be standard in every car.
So. I'm not entirely comfortable thinking that it's immoral for manufacturers to be able to charge more for safety features. I get where you're coming from. Where like everybody should get these and everybody should benefit from it, but I also think that if these people are spending the money on research and development and deploying these things, that they have a right to make money from it.
And I would think that buying the car that has the hardware to support the features is spending the money on it.
Not necessarily.
That's just getting you in the door. That's just that's
This is Elon's oh God, it.
You come to market with a $35,000 car. And he says, you know what? I think everyone's going to pay about $42,000.
Yeah.
Because there are features that everybody will
you want
like.
the car to stop? That's $5,000.
Well, okay, there are certainly there. You're talking immoral right there.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
well, but it's like Sirius. You buy a car, they give you like 60-day trial.
Mm-hmm.
Sirius XM, and they hope that you get hooked on it, and you say, okay, I'll pay the $10 or the $15 a month to keep it.
Yeah.
And most people don't, but some people see the value and they subscribe.
I certainly hope that there's a notification that your dynamic cruise control is about to expire.
Right
auto braking
now.
In 3, 2.
Yeah. The semi in front of you has jackknifed. Your subscription is expiring right now.
Would you like to renew?
Click here to accept.
Scream to renew.
slapping at the touch screen.
Son of a bitch.
I hate you, Elon.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful idea. I mean,
But that's what they would do. I'm sure they'd give you like trial periods of all the features to get you hooked on them.
Yeah, like recently, I believe they gave current Tesla drivers the ability to use the autopilot for people that did not have it on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's like this world of iPhones and whatever else. They can all give you a free trial, let you see it,
Yeah.
and then let you decide.
and the thing that's different is this is all software controlled. So Elon, or Tesla can turn it on and off remotely.
Yeah.
Elon's doing it. Every car.
Just to screw with
He's on
you.
his phone. Evan Fusco. Oh, the hell!
Watch this. He's on. He's off. He's on. He's off.
Meanwhile, 2,000 miles away, Evan's like, "What the hell?" But the difference is you used to have to go to a dealer. You know what I mean? And the dealer installed whatever it was, and now they can do this. This is the new model of making money in vehicles.
See, this would be like your cable provider giving you the premium channels for Labor Day weekend.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you get 3 days of
Showtime.
yeah. In this case, you get 3 days of autopilot, and then
Wow.
Yeah.
And there it is.
yeah.
Well, speaking of autopilot, something's got to move these vehicles around, and Paul's going to go over a really cool article. Well, I won't make a subjective decision on it. On an interesting article at Ward's Auto this week.
Yeah, so there was and again, it is subjective because I don't know. I mean, all I know is they did an announcement of the best 10 engines, or I guess powertrains for that matter, of 2017, which is mostly 2016 models. As far as I can tell from the article, the only factor was it had to be vehicles that retail for under $62,000. So I guess the current Teslas are exempt from this. But of the 10 best engines or powertrains, interestingly, 3 of them were hybrids or plug-in hybrids. So the 3 Chevy Volt was one, the Chrysler Pacifica hybrid, which I guess it's shipping now. It's still pretty new. Yeah, and the Honda Accord hybrid, which is pretty cool that 30% of the best engined vehicles are hybrids. And some are in a plug-in hybrid form, like the Volt and the Pacifica is going to be offered in a plug-in hybrid. So, I don't know who voted or how the votes were tallied, but it's cool that the auto industry is recognizing hybrids and plug-in hybrids.
Well, and the thing that caught my eye on this, Paul, was exactly what you said. I mean, that, if this was Car and Driver with 30% of the powertrains, would it have all been like Mopar? Right. Instead they were really looking at innovation and market disruption.
And
yeah.
I mean, the what did they say? The Chrysler Pacifica minivan gets 40 mpgs. I mean, that's incredible. Like Honda Odyssey gets like 12 mpg or something ridiculous. So
Well, and a lot of the pure gas motors were smaller motors. They wasn't all just big muscle cars.
Right.
This wasn't about the coolest motors,
Right. Like like the Ford Focus RS 2.3 liter has, a gazillion horsepower or something, in a very small engine. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would be nice to see other auto sites, I can't call them a magazine, obviously, but take this kind of wider view, shall we say, of motor vehicles.
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it, kids. We could keep going. Do you guys want to keep talking?
Was there one more story? When are we going to talk about Yugos?
Oh, did I blew right past that. I'm sorry. I missed my own story. Yeah, there's one more. We'll go over that real quick. Interestingly enough, Toyota is launching a program in, oddly enough, Dublin, Ireland, and Forlì, Italy. Two places. I have no idea what they have in common, but they're calling it the Yuko, which is Japanese for "Let's Go."
Oh, I thought it was Yugo, like from the
No,
Which is you go, yeah, or I go.
You go straight into a wall. Was that what that was? No, Yuko, Y-U-K-O. And it's like a car sharing program, but this is a car sharing program from a car company, which is really weird. Basically, they have several different vehicles. They have a Yaris, an Auris, a Prius. In Italy, they'll also have the CHR hybrid. And you pay €50 to join, and €6 a month. On top of that is an hourly rental, depending on the model, or you can save by booking a whole day.
Isn't this just like Car to Go, which is?
It's a car share.
It is, yeah.
It's Zip Car, it's Car Share, it's all of that,
Right.
but it's a car company.
Yeah, but Car to Go is owned by Mercedes.
Oh, is it? I didn't know
Oh,
that.
yeah. That's why it's all smart cars, because those are Mercedes.
Oh, I thought they just had bad taste.
No, no, they want to use their own.
Did I just lose all the Daimler fans?
Yeah, just another sponsor we've lost.
And Daimler they said they were this close.
I was so close to set on the bill. Yeah.
That's terrible.
They said they were this close. Well, forgive me. This is the second car company one then. But anyway, the other thing was that like, for instance, the Yaris hybrid is €8 per hour or €60 for the day. And that includes fuel.
And insurance.
And insurance. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very interesting. It's very interesting.
And a lot of these things or companies have designated parking in urban areas, so you don't have to worry about finding a parking spot. You go to the Yuko or the Car to Go parking spot, and it's free parking.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in a city environment. It's a great thing. I've used Car to Go, and it's wonderful. You can just pick up the car, go anywhere you want, park it for free. You don't have to put gas in it, and it's just no hassle.
Do you have any pictures of yourself in a smart car?
I don't. They drive like crap.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've driven one.
Yeah.
They all have like shitty ass CVT whiny transmissions,
They're
but
awful. Yeah. They're awful cars.
But
I
they're
also
easy to
heard-
park because they're tiny.
Yeah.
On that same subject, I know that GM has launched something called Maven, and Maven is the same
That's
thing.
right.
It's a car company that is now renting cars that have dedicated spots around the city, and you just go pick it up with your smartphone. You press a button, the door's unlocked, you get in, you drive it for an hour or two, and bring it back, and then you get charged through your credit card.
I didn't know that. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. So as as we were talking earlier, as potentially ownership is dropping.
Right.
These manufacturers are actually looking for revenues in other areas, and by leasing out their fleets, they're finding new revenue streams.
Yeah.
The question will be is if there is a mass, exodus from personal car ownership, is there enough of that other market to make up the people that are leaving? That'll be interesting to see.
That's up for them to figure out.
Is it that, or is it them just trying to make some damn money doing something?
It could be. It could be
maybe.
if it's reducing, they're trying to slow the reduce.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was just going to say, I've talked about a car sharing company in Vancouver, my old hometown, that's actually run by the AAA affiliate up there. I guess they figured people aren't owning cars. How can we make money? So they set up a car sharing network. And the cool thing is called Evo Car Share. I've mentioned it before, but it's evo.ca. And every single car that they have in their fleet is a Prius C with a roof rack. So if you live in the city and you want to go mountain biking or skiing on the weekend, you can take your bike or your skis up to the mountains. And it's actually run by BCAA, which is the AAA company. And I guess for them, it's a future revenue stream because private ownership is going to go away. People won't need AAA to come and give them a jump start.
Yeah. Again, in the city.
And if you look at their map, if you go to their page Evo and scroll down, there is a gazillion cars all over the city. Like if you just go to their homepage and scroll down until you see the map, they're like every 2 blocks.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
I have to go look.
Yeah.
Yep.
So scroll down.
The rest of the show is going to be me looking at the Evo car share.
But at least they were smart. They didn't use smart cars. They used Priuses.
Well,
Tony, is there even in my area, Kitchener-Waterloo, Southern Ontario here, there is a community car share, which is a group that owns maybe half a dozen cars, and they have them placed around the city. Is that type of thing going on in Chicago?
I have seen a lot of Zipcar locations. And I'm sure that there are others, but yeah, Zipcar is the one that I know the most. So that's the one I see, I'm more aware of. But yeah, in many parking garages, you'll see spots reserved for Zipcar.
Yeah.
Well, and there's also this company. They used to be called something else, but they rebranded now. They're called Turo, Turo.com, and it's basically Airbnb for your private car. So if you have a car that you don't use very much, you can rent it out to trusted strangers to drive your car and earn you revenue on days you're not using it.
Wow.
And, that's available today in many markets. And if you have a pickup truck, you can rent out your pickup truck for people who want to move stuff.
I think Mark is trying to get us to talk on his phone.
It's on my phone, Turo.
Yeah.
No.
huh.
Do you rent out your Volt, Mark?
No.
He doesn't want anyone
Just
Don't
anyone
ask.
farting in it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Some strange person's been farting in my car. That's so not right.
But I fart the new car smell.
That's what you think. You're the other guy.
But let's say you bought a new car and you want some help making the payments. That's one option. You know,
Yeah.
and like Airbnb, all the users are insured and all that. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting business model.
I just want to thank you guys for getting the show title this week.
What's the title?
We didn't even know it.
It's going to have something to do with farting and car sharing. I'm not sure which.
Yeah.
The new car fart
Yeah,
smell.
the new car fart smell. It might be it.
Yeah.
I might have to. I have to. I'm writing that down as we speak.
Sounds like clickbait if I've ever heard it.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to know more about this.
Yeah. I can't figure out why people are running the other direction.
And you have to go 57 minutes into the show just to find out what the title means.
That is the definition of link bait.
Yeah.
What the hell are they talking about? Well, to find out, you'll have to tune in next week, folks, because that's it for this week. Let's do our weekly shout outs and go home, gentlemen. I think we've done a fine job. So shout outs. Can I start with you, Paul?
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Shout out to Colorado again. We're now down to about 2 weeks and a bit to buy your used EVs to get the state tax credit. So you snooze, you lose, people in Colorado.
How much is that, Paul?
It's percentage based on the size of the battery. So a Volt, used Volt with a 16 kilowatt hour battery, you get 16% off what you pay for the car.
Wow.
If you buy a Leaf, you'll get 24%. So there are used Leafs around Colorado that after the rebate come in about $7,000, $8,000. So pretty good darn deal.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Nice.
And also plug my shop, Boulder Hybrids, boulderhc.com. If you have a hybrid or an EV, we fix those cars. So come on down.
You fix those cars?
Yeah, they break.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, they
Luckily,
break if you renew your subscription for the safety features.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, click here.
Yeah.
Paul has a Chinese workaround. Yeah, there's a dangerous. I was thinking while we were talking about the whole Tesla thing. I don't mean to go down a rat hole here, but like, who's going to be the first asshole hacker to come up with like an aggressive driving profile that you can overlay to your Tesla so you automatically drive like an asshole?
Right.
Someone's going to do it, and I know some Tesla owners are going to pay for it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got your Tesla chipped, I see.
Mhm.
Well, speaking of chipper, Mr. Coughlin, why don't you take it away next, sir?
Okay, very good. I'd just like to say hello to the Waterloo Regional Voltec Group, and looking forward to some better weather for next week. So hopefully Tony will ship us some better weather in from Chicago.
I'm sorry. I thought it was beautiful there coming up. Are you telling me it's not?
-20 is not beautiful.
Well, that's centigrade.
Is that American or Canadian?
That's Canadian.
That's
Oh.
Canadian. So
That's
it's
Canadian.
about $1.50.
The big C.
Yeah.
I've been to Quebec. It's -20 is not bad.
Okay,
No one's gonna bu-
guy
no
in
one's-
Florida. Okay,
Yeah.
guy in Florida. Yes,
Yeah.
it's not bad at all.
Yeah, a guy who doesn't have to live in it.
Guy who doesn't have to wear a jacket. He's telling us that -20 ain't bad. Okay.
Mhm.
I threw away most of my jackets last year.
Yeah, can you say credibility? Can you?
No, I actually can't say credibility. I don't even know. No, sir. If I say it, lightning hits me. And I definitely don't want to be hit by lightning. Mr. Schaefer.
I want to, I know, later on, as we're rambling through all of our closing credits, we talk about Facebook and all that, but I want to make sure and call out people who are interacting with us on Facebook: Susanna Schick and Rob Bond, Bruno Marco, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, David Lauer, longtime friend. I also want to give a shout out. I like it when pages like pages. So there's a Facebook page called My eLife Now, who are interacting with us on Facebook. And so I want to give them a shout out. And so I'm telling our listeners and our Facebook people, if you go and you search for My E-Life Now ! And throw them a like and, interact with them as well. Because we're all one big happy community.
Are we?
I would like to think so. It sounds good.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds wonderful. I just like all big kind of fuzzy, crunchy thing. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, thank you very much. You know what, Tony, I have to go back to the window. Let me go back to the window here. Click on the script. It's just so many words.
Oh, sorry,
Well, you know what? Okay, so here's the thing.
interrupt here. Sorry.
Here's the thing. If you own a Prius, go to the Prius shop. And if you are on Facebook, follow us at What Drives Us on Facebook. And if you use Flipboard, then look for the What Drives Us magazine. And there's also the What Drives Us webpage at whatdrives.us. And then you can stream us at Stitcher, Slacker, YouTube, Google Play, or iTunes.
Wow. Tony, was that you like condensing down 6 paragraphs?
That was the Cliffs Notes version. Yeah.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you. Give me a chance to cue up the music. So again, Danny Cooper will be back someday. We eagerly await his return. But until then, I want to thank my co-host, Tony Schaefer, for being here. I also want to thank Mark Coughlin and Paul Guzik, who both work long, full-time. I think you guys have full-time jobs even. I mean, Jesus, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Ignoring that Tony has a full-time job too, but
Yeah.
thank you for coming. You notice Paul's in his like work, uniform. He doesn't even get to go home.
Paul
the rest of
doesn't
us-
leave his office. He's
Yeah.
there all the time.
Paul's still there. So for God's sakes, if you're anywhere near, go to Boulder and have Paul. Just give Paul some
Spend
beer
some
or
money
something.
so I can like hire more people and go home earlier.
Yeah,
That's right.
he's a management kind of guy. He's a delegating kind of guy. An overseer. He's not.
Yeah.
Well, no way. I've seen you dig into cars, dude.
Yeah.
I think this podcast is his primary revenue stream.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, man.
That's Mercedes is a big sponsor.
Yeah. Wow.
Can't wait to see their checks.
And I stabbed myself earlier. You must be really desperate. So thank you, gentlemen, as always, for being on the show. And of course, thanks to every one of you out there listening and viewing and watching and posting on Facebook.com/WhatDrivesUs and visiting us at whatdrives.us. Thank you so much. You can, of course, visit me as PriusOwnersGroup.com if you like, or on the What Drives Us page. I'm there all the time. And if you post something, I'll probably see it. Until then, we'll be back next week, folks. Download us and find out what drives us. That was loud. Go, Michael.
Got my Goose Island.
Oh, you forgot to shout out to Michael.
Michael Mannering, manthing.com. He's the man. Every episode, baby. 209 of them. We'll see you next week. No, we'll see you next week. We better see you next week.